head down to Lenoir County, North Carolina, and you might hear a little lingo, something called throwing a fish stew. Now, it's a low-key gathering of friends and family, and it features big pots, cauldrons, even wash tubs full of a very, very different and yummy stew. But Bryan went down to Deep Run to find out more about what the stew's all about.
That's right, Bridget. I went down to Deep Run and I met up with Greg and Sandy Smith and Greg's father, Emmett, and together they threw a fish stew for me. It features two of North Carolina's premier products, seafood and pork.
It's like nirvana in the food world.
Couldn't have it any better. So right now we have 6 slices of thick cut bacon that I've cut into 1/2-inch pieces. We're gonna render that off until it's nice and crispy. And to that, we're going to add 2 thinly sliced onions. We have 1 onion done here, slice another onion. Okay, so we can add all these onions to the bacon.
Okay. You know, the best things in life, I think, start with rendered bacon and onion.
Oh yeah. All right, so we have 2 thinly sliced onions there, 1½ teaspoons of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. You know, in Deep Run, they didn't cook this in a regular Dutch oven. Emmett Smith found a big black iron kettle buried almost completely in a manure field when he was just a kid. But he clarified for me later that it was just a cow pasture, but I'm not so sure there's much of a difference. But he found that cauldron and he polished it back to brand new and usable with a brick and some sand. And now he estimates he's made over 500 stews in it today.
That brick, I guess, is #1 grit sandpaper, right?
Okay, Bridget, it's been about 5 minutes. You can smell how nice that is. And the onions are just softened. And to that, we're going to add 6 cups of water.
Okay. No chicken broth, no clam juice,
No, you know, we tried chicken broth and clam juice. We just felt like the fish contributes enough of its own flavor that we could just get away with water here.
All right.
To that water, we're gonna add 1 6-ounce can of tomato paste. We'll just give that a couple of stirs to dissolve. You also wanna scrape the bottom of the pot to get up any of that bacon fond and incorporate it into the stew.
That means flavor.
And to that, we're going to add 1 pound of red potatoes. And we're gonna leave the skin on these potatoes, but we're gonna give them a quick slice, about 1/4 inch thick.
So it is a little similar to chowder in that potatoes are in there.
Yeah, it's like chowder, but 1,000 times better. So.
We have Manhattan on line 2 and Boston on line 3 for you, Bryan.
So we'll put these sliced potatoes in, 1 pound of the sliced red potatoes.
All right.
And then 1 bay leaf. So we're gonna bring this up to a boil, reduce the heat to medium, and let those potatoes go for about 10 minutes, because we wanna give them a head start on the fish and the other ingredients.
All right.
So now we can talk about fish. In Deep Run, they use a local fish called a rockfish, which is a type of bass, and they use rockfish steaks, which contain lots of bones. The bones are good and bad. So they're good in the sense that they contribute a lot of flavor and body to the stew, but they're bad in the sense, for me personally, because I like to shovel a lot of the stew in my mouth really quickly, and it promotes choking. So here in the test kitchen, we just opted for some boneless, skinless cod fillets. And you can use any type of whitefish fillets, but you wanna make sure they're about 1 to 1½ inches thick.
Nice.
We wanna maintain these big chunks of fish in the stew.
Okay.
So we're just gonna cut these crosswise in about 2-inch pieces. And we're just gonna let those potatoes come to a boil and finish cooking for about 10 minutes, and we'll come back and add the fish.
Sounds good.
Okay, Bridget, it's been 10 minutes and the potatoes have their head start. We can now add 1 teaspoon of Tabasco sauce.
A little bit of heat.
Got a little bit of a spicy kick to it between the red pepper flakes and the Tabasco.
That is looking beautiful already.
Okay, and that's the last time we're going to stir the stew, because now we're going to add the fish. So we have the cod fillets here, and we could just drop them into the stew.
So that's a lot of fish for this stew. That's great.
So now we just want to lightly push all those fillets underneath.
Fully submerged.
Right. And again, we're not stirring this anymore because we don't want to break up those fish fillets once they begin to cook.
And it's a nice gentle bubble too. It's not boiling at this point.
Should be down at medium low. And now here's where things get a little bit unusual.
Breakfast.
In the fish stew realm, yeah. We're going to crack 8 whole eggs into the stew.
Just right in there. Drop them right in.
Not hard-boiled eggs, but just eggs cracked right into the stew.
Now I have to ask you, so they think that the English settlers brought this over with them when they came to settle in the North Carolina coastal plains. Do you think they added eggs at that point?
You know what? I've heard that this was a great way to stretch a meal.
Okay.
So you had bacon from last winter. You had fish that just came up and knocked on your door. You had egg from the chicken. You know, everything goes into the pot to feed as many people as you can.
It is the definition of a locavore stew.
Yes, it is. All right, so we're going to crack them.
Want some help?
Sure.
All right.
I'll jump in on this side.
All right, just anywhere?
Yep. When I was down there in Deep Run, they brought out about 4 dozen eggs to crack into their stew. Still
How
a
big
lot of
was that
eggs.
pot that you were talking about?
It was a good 20-gallon pot.
Really?
At least, yeah.
That's a lot of fish stew. All right,
So-
no stirring?
No stirring at this point. So we're going to cover it and let the stew go for 20 minutes on medium-low. And at that point, the fish and the eggs will be perfectly cooked.
Now, you out there might be thinking, what am I watching? This is actually an amazing stew. I've eaten it before. I've actually never made it, but I have eaten it several times that Bryan's made, and it is outstanding. So please stick with us. It's going to be worth it.
All right, Bridget, it's been about 20 minutes. We could check the stew.
I see eggs. I see fish.
Oh, yeah, it looks good. So we should taste it for seasoning.
How's it
Maybe
doing?
a touch of salt, I think. And we're ready to portion out.
All right.
All right, so there's a piece of fish.
Beautiful. And it's still held together, so you're right. You didn't stir it, didn't fall apart.
That's right.
The aromas in here are amazing, too.
So when I was served this, we had saltine crackers and a fluffy white sandwich bread. I like the sandwich bread because it helps to sop up some of the juice.
I'm following your lead.
So you could dunk a little in there just to
All right,
give it a
fold.
sample.
That broth is magic.
Okay.
It's the tomato with that creamy egg yolk inside. It's kind of magic.
It's one of my favorite recipes of the last year.
It's so beautifully brothy, and it's really clean flavored, too. Actually, the broth tastes like the cod.
Get a little bit of the smokiness from the bacon.
You do.
God bless you, North Carolina.
A lot to love about that state. This is just one more thing. Now, this is the best stew that you have probably never eaten, and as all good things do, well, it starts with cooking onions in bacon fat. Add water, tomato paste, and sliced red potatoes and parboil. Season with Tabasco, nestle in large pieces of white fish, then crack eggs right into that stew. You cover and cook until the eggs are just set and serve as the locals do, with saltines or fluffy white sandwich bread. So from Cook's Country, a very authentic fish stew from North Carolina. Thanks for watching Cook's Country from America's Test Kitchen. So what'd you think?
Leave a comment and let us know which recipes you're excited to make, or just say hi.
Now you can find links to today's recipes and reviews in the video description.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
See you later.
Alligator.